Greetings and welcome back to Brick and Lantern. Thank you so much for the support from last video. I really appreciate the comments, the likes, and I hope that you're enjoying watching this collection come together as much as I am putting it together with you in the audience. I think it's going to be a very exciting day for those of us out there who love anime, and a great day for the collection. We're adding on a very special mock. This is something that I've been waiting to put together for some time. After I saw the instructions on Instagram and got my Bricklink order together, I finally got the parts for an SD Zaku unit from Mobile Suit Gundam. SD stands for Super Deformed. It is one of the Gunpla types that they make, and instead of farming another ecosystem of building pieces, I've decided that I'm going to take Lego bricks and put them together based on a build by Sunglee9. I've made a few of my own modifications, which I'll be pointing out throughout the video, but overall this build is pretty part for part exactly what you're going to see in Instagram or YouTube, depending on which way you find it. Though do check the description because I've pasted the YouTube video down below if you want to see the original builder put together his model. Already we've put together the top head of the Zaku, including its little head spike that I think is so distinctive. I'm making a modification on the face. Instead of using the curved slope bricks, I'm using two grill wedges, kind of to simulate the hoses that you find on the Zaku's face from the show, or from the manga, instead of the very smooth face that Sung built his into. Now already this unit is starting to take shape very quickly. It's about 100 or so pieces. I didn't exactly check, but I'll be sure to make a piece count on my way back through next time I build one. But already, the detail on this build is so rich, despite how small it is. I feel like that's a theme on the channel right now, considering just the scale of what we've been building, but I think that it's a very nice kind of focus piece for us right now. One issue I was having was that the instructions are very fast and very detailed. Very detailed build, and it's hard to get a hold of sometimes what the builder is doing when he's making it. I understand it's mostly for him to kind of show off, but sometimes I felt like I wish he had just put the instructions out using Lego Digital Designer or some other technique like that. If anyone is able to, it would be really nice to have someone make LDD files for this and actually make an instruction manual. Maybe I'll contact somebody and have them do that for us so we can share the build out. The torso is coming together very quickly. There's a use of burnt orange parts, or these lighter orange parts, as well as the overall color scheme of yellow, which is very out of the ordinary for the anime. Usually the Zaku units you find are in red or blue or green, but never in bright yellow, though that does make sense considering there are war machines. The torso has already come together, and we have 3 points of articulation so far. There are going to be about 2 more points added on for a total of 5, and considering again the 100-part limit, the amount of articulation that you're going to get in this build is frankly very stunning. And it's very fun to take this build, start positioning it, play with it a little bit. It's fun to get photos. Like, I had a great time shooting the thumbnail and a great time at the end as well, just snapping everything together. Now what we're doing right now is we're building the forearm elbow area. We're kind of building from the elbows down. This is where we're going to be putting weapons and accessories later, and also attaching it to the upper arm unit, which we're starting to put together now. Most of the build is attached by hose pieces. We use these hose nozzles to kind of facet everything around and very much structure what we're doing around those hose pieces, which are going to serve as points of rotation, points of manipulation later on. Another great thing about this unit is how closely it sticks to the show. I feel like we really get a great feel of the Zaku. If you've never seen a Zaku before, or you've never had much contact with Mobile Suit Gundam, you can kind of understand what a Zaku would look like in the show just from this model alone, which I think is great because it really shows how much detail was put into creating this thing and how much time and effort and references were used. I mean, even using the overturned seat to display that overhanging shield item that it has on its right arm, or the spikes which we're using cheese wedges for right now. I mean, these details in this build is very distinctive, and why it turns from a regular mech into a Zaku unit, because I think you see that single mono eye and you're like, yeah, it could be a robot, you know, whatever, the Buzz Lightyear build, and then you're looking at the closer details and you're looking at how the frame is positioned itself, and you're like, oh, this is a Gundam thing. This is a little mobile suit guy. So Bricky has been helping me out throughout the build. I decided to put some eyes on him and kind of give him his own personality, so we'll be seeing more of him throughout the videos, and maybe if he's having a good day or having a bad day, you can tell by the dots on his face. We've been setting aside the limbs and each kind of distinct section of the mobile suit. I decided to do this because I think it would be more satisfying to attach them all in the end and better for the video, and hopefully you'll find more enjoyment out of that rather than building this part by part and kind of going back and forth. What we're building now is we are actually building the legs. We're building these tiny little stubby legs for the mobile suit and getting it to the point where it can stand beneath its own power. These legs use, again, cheese wedges, the 1x1 yellows, to stand on the feet, actually, to use as the feet, which I think is really, really neat and speaks to, again, how ingenious this tiny little build is, and that it can stand on its own power and not have any issues. And it even has rotating hips, so you can position one leg out in front of the other and very much set it into a different kind of pose, different kind of stance, just based on a rod that is protruding from the bottom of the mobile suit that allows it to kind of walk, so to speak. So we've got our parts assembled now, and we're going to go back and actually make some weapon accessories for this Zaku. If you're familiar with Zeon's weaponry, then you'll understand that I'm trying to build a tiny little Heat Hawk war axe. This is one of their melee weapons, and essentially works by using the nuclear reactor in the Zaku unit to burn a hole through any of the other mobile suits that this axe comes in contact with, and the big heat element is created by using another orange slope and attaching some gray bits onto it to kind of create this axe silhouette. One issue I was having with the axe was getting this hose to stick on. As you can see, it's kind of popping off over time, and eventually I decided to go another way. We're also making the 90mm machine gun that a lot of the Zaku units come with out of the box, so to speak. Another fun kind of Lewis-based weapon from the series that I think would be a great challenge to go back and replicate some more weapons from the series, try to make them as accurate as possible. Already I can think of an SD Gym Shield or an SD Barbatos. They have that mace that it has in the first couple episodes of Iron-Blooded Orphans. Now what we're doing is we are making a custom mortar backpack for this unit. I decided to forego the standard jump jet and instead make a rotating mortar as well as a opposable fire jet. So essentially this Zaku is going to be using a lot of high firepower as well as some mobility jump jets that I've designed myself. There's a lot of opposability in these jump jets. There is some Technic units on the back to kind of stick it to. The mortar round and the large drum canister rotates, so if you want to simulate it shooting off mortar rounds, or the back jump jet actually moves back and forth, so if you want to be able to kind of pretend that your Zaku is flying up into the air and then opening fire, you can. Now we are finally getting to the most satisfying part of the build, that is putting all the holes and all the rods together. I will let you laugh about that in the comments. Yeah, so we're putting everything together. We are letting the Zaku stand on its own power by attaching the arms, the legs, and hopefully giving it some weaponry so that I can fight against whatever Federation or Zeon forces are allied against it. Anything to defend its claim to space. It's been a very enjoyable project. It's been such a small scale that I think I could easily buy more mobile suit units and hopefully kind of attract and attach some of those characteristics to this tiny little super deformed frame. It's very, very opposable. It's very easy to model and play with and kind of move into different positions. So I've been even just, as I've been looking at it and working on this video, just moving the weapons into different positions, changing the head location around, the stance of the front and back legs, kind of just playing with it and making it look different every time I look at it, so you can kind of get a full appreciation of the model. I think I'm going to get some translucent elements and actually put it into the air, hopefully get that jump jet, give it a little bit of flame, and very much make it into kind of a fun, malleable display piece, so that all my mobile suit units can have their own unique stance and look different, kind of like everyone goes crazy with the Gunpla. I decided I'm just going to go crazy with the Lego MS and see how far I can push this thing and how far these SD units can go. I mean, I'd love to do an SD Sazabi, an SD Unicorn. I mean, an SD Easy 8 is one of the ones that I'm thinking of first with the bluish gray color scheme. And I think that the Zaku is finally coming together, and I'm going to give you a quick posability overview right here at the end. There it is, standing on its own power there. Look at how powerful that thing looks. And here it is. This is the SD Zaku, the MS-8. I'm going to give it a quick spin, show you that custom backpack I was telling you about earlier. You can pull it off and on very easily, and it's very easy to put whatever you want on back there if you want to give it freaking wings. I don't care. But look at all the units of articulation. Thank you so much for coming to today's video. If you want to see more, feel free to leave a comment down below with any ideas you have, especially if you want to see more Gundam or anime stuff. That'd be so much fun to do. If you aren't already, feel free to subscribe. We're building something very nice and small here, and I really appreciate all of you coming by to support us. Until then, stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you next time. Good night.